Yes, people, how are we all doing? Welcome back to Lion in the Room, a podcast brought to you by Lions Den Studio Productions, projects where we just entertain the people. I'm your host, Leo Edoche, and I've got a very special podcast for you guys today because I got one of my boys. I feel like I'm always bringing my friends on, but this is a good one. Influencer, he's been on TV, and he's a fellow Lion. Welcome, my boy Lionel Awudu, man. Welcome to the podcast, bro. How you doing?
Appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, I'm really good, thank you. How have you been?
I'm not too bad. I can't complain, bro. When it comes to the summer, it's kind of bipolar. You got rainy days, you got hot days. You don't know what to wear, but we make it work, man. Work's been good. I can't complain too much, bro. When you're busy, you have different ways, different avenues to follow. But for me, I just try my best to have fun with it. How
That's
about you?
good. For myself, knowing that we live in the UK, yeah, you're definitely right about the weather, always fluctuating. But yeah, no, I'm trying to make the most of it as much as possible. Whenever the weather is pretty decent, I try and make the most out of that day or those couple of days. And then obviously, where the weather's not so great, it's just, I take that time just to really like relax and just chill kind of thing. So yeah, just overall, just trying to be stress-free as much as possible and then just continue to enjoy my life, really.
I like that, bro, because you are dripped out, man.
Thank you.
The one good thing that I like about this podcast is that everyone comes on their best. Like, it's like first day of school. You're looking clean, you're looking prepared. But for you, bro, come on. I'm really liking the bomber jacket. Obviously, I always tell you I like the caps that you got on. The glasses. That's like you just completed the fit, man. Like you're ready to step out, like you're on a mission. After this, bro, he's off somewhere.
We'll see.
Do you feel like you take your style very seriously? Like your style is a representation of who you are?
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. I take my style very seriously and I've been doing this for quite some time now. I would also say that it probably comes from the place where, my uncles being the figures in my life that actually really coordinating me in terms of how to dress properly. Yeah. It all started off with me dressing like in a very smart way. So they always used to try and like not force, but more like, trying to encourage suits and, looking clean and fresh. And then I've just kind of like extrapolated that into like, casual, like street casual kind of wear. Because I'll be real, I've seen a lot of questionable fashion choices, especially in the UK. So,
That's true.
I think that people tend to do more than they should. And I always believe less is more anyway. So it's just not, you don't want the outfit to, you don't want the outfit to wear you. You want to be able to wear the outfit, So you want to make sure that, the outfit brings the most out of you and your personality and stuff like that. And I just feel like, me coordinating the way that I do in terms of color schemes, patterns, all that kind of thing. It's just who I am. It's just how I do things. It's just, something that I enjoy doing as much as I can, really. And I want the whole world to be able to see that.
That's good, bro. That's good. I was actually talking about this on the previous episode with Kola and Ruth. So we started off talking about style and fashion, and Kay had the opportunity to talk about where he gets his own style from, how things are changing for him. And in that change, he just shows his quote unquote resilience. I like how for you, it's a bit more tailored. Like you've been taught on how to dress, not really understanding why it's really an issue. But as you've grown, you see that because everything that's gone into you from one ear didn't just come out the other ear. You've accepted that and just kind of turned that into your own, a trait of yours. Yeah. Because of that, you dress nicely, and it's not really to stand out or impress others. It's like you said, to if anything, it helps point out who you are. It helps make you stand out more. So when people see you and your nice dressing, they get the opportunity to also get to know who you are as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's nice, bro. I really like that, bro. Is there anyone else in your family who's also as stylish, or you'd say like you're the top? I think
everybody, I mean, obviously if I'm going to be that guy, then yeah, I'm going to say I'm the top of my family, 100%. But I feel like, pretty much all members of my family know how to dress really well. With my sisters, aunties, uncles, my mom knows how to dress really well. She takes her, fashion very seriously. She's always trying to shop from the best places, especially when she has events going on as well.
Oh, yeah?
So, yeah, 100%. She takes it very seriously. Even with the accessories, the handbags, the jewelry, all those kind of things as well. She's like that. But yeah, I think, just being in an environment like that, it's very easy to try to just be in the midst of, high fashion, I'd say, and I feel like because of that now, because obviously we kind of help each other out and we also give each other advice in terms of, especially I've seen this between my sisters, in terms of how they help each other with stylish advice and what to wear, what not to wear kind of thing, it kind of brings out the best out of all of them. And, from that, you always get people, always commenting and complimenting them and complimenting me. And, it's just a really good thing, to be fair.
Lovely stuff. So your auntie, is she into event planning or you said events? Does she?
Yeah. So, I mean, my mom and aunties and uncles, they enjoy going to a lot of events whenever they are invited. It's I would say in the Cameroonian community, we have this Cameroonian, like, how do I put it? It's a big, it's a, what's the word?
Well, like a celebration or?
It's like a celebration. It's like a gathering. It's like a whole multitude of things. But it's within the community within the UK. And then they've basically elected my mom as the president, right?
Hey.
So obviously she's the leader for it, and she's been the leader for it for quite some time now. So obviously they always expect her to try and her best to attend all the events as much as possible. And yeah, whenever she does, she always, feels the need to be able to try and like lead by example and, dress to impress essentially. So then obviously people kind of understand the notion of what's really going on. But yeah, these kind of like, gatherings and events and activities that go on essentially, that these kind of things just a way for all the Cameroonians within the UK to connect better because, as you already know, like there's not many Cameroonians that really live in the UK as much as Nigerians or Ghanaians or, other, as you already know. So it's whenever we do have the opportunity to be able to meet up and to do something together, then, we always make sure it happens.
That's nice, man. Just making the most out of the opportunity, bro, because you never really know who you're going to meet at that point in time. You might see an old relative from a long time back, bro, and you just want to have fun, look good, enjoy the vibes. That's all I can get from it, man, and that's lovely.
For sure.
But before we move into it, I got one more question. When it comes to your style, what are your go-tos? If you had to pick like a top 3, like your maybe accessories, caps, shoes, how you style, what's the most important?
What's the most important? Wow, that's a big question. I would say for me, most recently especially, I'm big on jewelry. I'm big on jewelry in the sense that, it has to make sense with the outfit itself. Because obviously the jewelry kind of like makes everything pop. You know,
of course.
You know how girls have like, their makeup to be able to make the whole overall look pop, contour, all that kind of stuff, right? Yeah. I feel like our makeup is our jewelry,
of course.
And being able to have the right sense of jewelry on you, or accessories, whether that be a watch or a ring or a necklace, bracelet, whatever the case may be, in the right places and everything, and also allowing that to coordinate with the outfit that you're wearing as well, is really essential to be able to make everything stand out. And that's what I really believe. So I'd say, having jewelry, it's literally the cherry on top, to be fair.
That's true.
It makes like an average simple outfit into something that's really good. Like I could be wearing jeans on the top and it looks decent, but then because obviously I'm wearing jewelry now on top of it, that's what makes you, really, really, be out there.
That's very true. So, yeah. I like that. You take off the jacket, take the cap off, and you're still a clean looking guy, man. That's actually true. A lot of people think a lot of people believe jewelry is that finisher, as you've mentioned, like the finishing touch. Some people feel like it's a bit too much. Maybe like guys don't need to wear jewelry, or let me change my term, guys don't need to wear too much jewelry. I think it's okay, as long as it's not too over-exaggerated. Well, what's your take on it, broski, before we move
on? I think there is jewelry that's a bit too excessive. I think jewelry, in terms of like those big, like Jesus pieces, kind of thing, it's a bit too much. Or anything else that's super big. Like I think, like I always say, less is more. Just try and keep it as simple as possible because you really want to be able to show that, with simplicity, you're able to just be yourself and also be the type of person to be able to shine through the outfit, to make the outfit, pop out. You don't want the outfit to try and like engulf you. So I think it's just a situation where, having, decent sized jewelry and, jewelry that makes sense. I like those dog chains kind of thing. So that's the dog tags, I don't know what it's called.
No, I think dog tags, I thought initially you were talking about links, Cuban links.
Right now, yeah, there's that as well. I like that. Dog tags, stuff like that. For guys, And yeah, just kind of jewelry and bracelets and stuff like that. For me personally, you can never go wrong. You're always going to look good. People are always going to be complimenting you. So, if that's what you want, people admiring you and complimenting you, then take my advice.
Say no more, people. You got the jewelry. Also, look at investing in some perfume. And if you can get some nice shoes as well, get some nice kicks, people. But we'll be back after the break. Now, broski, everyone that's already seen you on TV knows that you were on Love Island the previous year.
Yeah.
You got an opportunity to meet different people, all from all over the UK.
Yeah.
One place, one villa. And we just want to know what the experience was like. I've always known you to be a charismatic person. And when it comes to charisma, when you have high levels of that, it's like you don't even shake when it's time to talk to people. So tell us a little bit about the experience and what it felt like in front of, I guess, like all the cameras and tons of producers and all that, man.
Well, where do I begin? I can begin from the very start. So the way Love Island works, they either approach you or send you a message, or even in person. The producers can be anywhere. It can be a restaurant, it could be an event, and they essentially kind of scout you. So if you look like somebody that is very attractive and you seem like the type of person that has a great personality or is a charismatic individual, they will essentially, message you or, talk to you and see if you're interested in an opportunity like that. And if you are, obviously they'll relay all the information that you need to be able to do, to be able to enroll yourself as part of this experience. So for myself, it all started initially like in 2022. I was in a relationship at the time. And they sent me a message to say if I was interested. I declined because obviously I was in a relationship.
Yeah.
So I thought that was the end of that. And then it was almost as if they were just kind of keeping tabs to see if I was going to be, still in a relationship or single, and just kind of watching my profile. And at some point, they just messaged me again. I would say maybe the end of 2023, or if not the beginning of 2024. Just asking same thing again, and I just said, you know what? I'm that type of person. I don't want to be afraid of certain situations because it's a new position to be in, essentially. And I feel like a lot of people, essentially, in that kind of position, they wouldn't be as confident enough to be able to take this opportunity on, essentially, and see it through. So I just said, you know what? I'm that type of person. I like challenges. I like to challenge myself. I like to push myself to new heights. So I just said, let me just do it. And even at that time, I wasn't really watching Love Island like that. I didn't really watch, I mean, I knew of certain characters, certain people, but I just didn't know how the show really, really went. So I had to do my research during that time where I could potentially be on the show, watching the previous seasons and everything. And it taught me a lot, and it gave me a sufficient amount of knowledge to be able to go into. It just, as part of the process in terms of being enrolled, there is a variety of different interviews you have to do. You have to do a Zoom interview, you have to do interviews in person. You also have to do a lot of like questionnaires and, meetings with like the psychiatric team as well, because obviously it's a thing where, could potentially, affect, your mental health depending on how it goes. Yeah. So these are the kind of things that you have to go through, essentially. You have to do other different types of testing and other fun stuff too. And then obviously once that was all done, it's just a long waiting game to see if you're going to be on the show or not. The show essentially it starts off, and you're just kind of waiting whether you're going to be a bombshell or whether you're going to be in Casa Amour. You're not too sure. So the days go by, episodes go by, and then for myself, I got the phone call on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Now,
okay.
The difficulty with a Sunday is that they called me to say, how would you feel about entering the going into the island, entering the villa and being flown out the day after, which was the Monday. So I said, yeah, that's fine. I'm going to take my opportunity. But then I realized I've not had a trim. I've not organized all my clothes properly.
Okay.
There's a lot of things as well like I haven't done or prepared for, and I literally have less than 24 hours, because this is like maybe around this time, like 7 o'clock, I got that call. So now I'm just kind of like, okay, how do I find the right barber? How do I organize my stuff properly? All those kind of things to make sure that I'm fully prepared in less than 24 hours.
And you're just rushing.
So then now I'm rushing. So then obviously I go to my normal barber. He wasn't available, unfortunately. I was going to other barbers. I thought that was also good as well. And they weren't really available because it's a Sunday. Businesses are closed, on a Sunday normally. And then obviously, luckily, as you know, the Afro barbers over there down there,
yes, yeah, of course,
they were open. So I just said, you know what, I'm gonna keep it very simple because that's not my normal barber. So I don't want to do too much.
No flares.
Yeah. So I didn't want to be doing too much, and I wasn't trying to experiment on anything that was gonna try and like make me potentially look better. But then with somebody you're unfamiliar with, it can go the other direction. So that's what I was worried about. I did my thing there, got my flight. I was met with a chaperone. Now, most people don't know this, but obviously you need a chaperone to be able to take care of you, because you don't essentially just enter the show, just straight ahead.
Okay.
You have to wait a couple of days, in a hotel or in a villa. My situation was about Monday to the Friday. So that was 5 days, essentially just kind of me waiting and doing like commercial stuff, filming stuff, all those kind of things.
Okay, so pictures,
preparations, all those kind of things, having meetings with the producers, making sure they're okay, or making sure that you're okay, all those kind of things. Psychiatric team as well, making sure you're okay. Those just small things like that to make sure everything's all good with you before your big break, essentially. And then I remember on the Saturday, so on Friday evening, we filmed the walking scene, if you remember the walking scene.
Yeah, I remember.
So obviously that was the outside bit we were filming, and essentially we had just filmed that part. We didn't actually walk into the villa itself yet. So it was a situation where we had to come back in the next day to wear the same clothes, and then obviously that's when the show started for Casa Amour.
Okay.
So Casa Amour enters. I think I was the first one to open up the door.
Yeah, you were.
So I was the first one that came in. And then we went to the, where the champagne was and everything like that. We drew our glasses and stuff like that. And all I can remember was, wow, like the bright lights, like, this is nothing. Like the lights were very bright, in your face. And I'm trying to maintain a level of professionalism because I'm not trying to look at the cameras and this and the other. I want to try and make it as genuine as it is, as much as possible.
Yeah.
And, I feel like the same with the other guys as well. They were trying to do the same thing. So, but yeah, we just tried to enjoy it. And at some point we just kind of sat down, or we were just waiting for the girls to come through. And I remember the girls, I could hear them, because this is like off camera bit, but like I could hear them like screaming and shouting, full of excitement. Oh, it's Casa Amour. We're going to see different guys, this and the other. And I was like, wow, they are coming with some strong ass energy. I won't lie.
And you just gonna have to maintain your.
You're gonna have to maintain your steez, all that kind of thing. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, so I hope the guys and myself were fully prepared of what the girls are gonna give us, because this is gonna be something real interesting. So they finally came through. Obviously, they were filming this part. We were all greeting each other, introducing each other, ourselves to each other. One thing's for sure, like, in person, especially for my season, all the girls were very beautiful. I won't even lie. They were very, very attractive women. So I was happy to be amongst a very attractive woman. Me as a man, I enjoy being around women who are very attractive anyway. So, it was very nice to see something like that for sure. And obviously they dress really well, smell good. And yeah, their personalities are like off the top. There was never like a dull moment with them. I really enjoyed spending the 4 days, I think, with those girls. They were really good people. And then after that, it was just during that time, obviously, we're grafting, we're getting to know the girls, getting to know each other, all that kind of thing. Obviously, as you already know, I was trying to get to know Mimi. And it was a situation where I just played it the way I would normally play it with any other girl. So I'm the type of person where I'm not going to like falter in being shy or timid. And being worried about whether she likes me or whether she doesn't, all that kind of thing. I'm going to be the type of person where I'm going to talk to you. I want to try and get to know you more. I want to try to learn more about you and, the situation we found ourselves in. And then obviously trying to proceed from there, really. But I think one thing I learned about her is that she's very loyal, and she was very loyal to who she was with.
Was that Ayo?
Yeah, she was with Ayo at the time. And then she was explaining the situation to me about what's going on between herself and Ayo. And 100% I'm going to respect it. I'm not one to really try and do too much like that, to try and like, I would never drag another guy's name or his character if I don't even know him. I'm not, just because I want to secure my position.
You're not going to do that.
I'm not going to do that type of thing. It goes against my character. I wanted to stay true to myself 100%. Whilst also trying to encourage her to try and like open up and broaden up mind to the potential chance of, you know, like seeing where it goes between her and myself. So, but yeah, no, I'm not the type of person who's forceful as well. Once you've already made your decision, after I've done everything I could have possibly have done to try and like, I don't want to say persuade, but try and like sway you a little bit. And if you're sticking to your guns, I respect it. But I did have the feeling that he would change his mind in terms of who he would want to be with.
Yeah.
And I think because obviously she had so much trust for him at the time, then she was kind of like blindsided because of that. So obviously, inevitably, when, you know, everything came into picture, like the truth came out, you know, he switched partners. I remember being in the main villa now, and then obviously, you know, Maya Jama asking me, okay, well, they didn't show this on TV, but Maya Jama asking me, like, how was my Casa Amour experience? And then I said it for what it is, you know, I was getting to know a really lovely girl, and, you know, we had a good conversation and everything, but, you know, ultimately she chose to stick to her guns and stick to Io, essentially, and, you know, it just unfortunately didn't work out for her, which, you know, we all felt bad for.
Yeah, we saw that, man, but I have to ask, honestly, like, because there were some things that we didn't get to see. Obviously, I want to imagine producers have a way that the show needs to go, the way they want it to go, and things like that, man. But favoritism. This is my boy, man. Like, I was expecting to actually see a whole lot more, bro. Because like, you came in, and the lovely thing about you is that you came in first. Is like trying to dispel the worry, whatever anxiety could be in your mind. It's like, well, I come in first. I see everything. It's done. You know,
for sure.
I can now focus. But then we don't get to see as much. Like, was there any reason for that? Because, come on, bro, it's not like you were just sitting down and pouring drinks for everybody.
No, it wasn't just that. I think the potential reasons to why you didn't see so much from me, you know, in terms of talking and being fully a part of the Love Island experience was just because a lot of the girls, and not just myself, even Jake and Joe experienced the same thing. Joe had no screen time whatsoever, unfortunately.
That was the younger boy.
That was the younger guy.
Yeah.
So he had no screen time, unfortunately. But I think one of the main reasons is because obviously during Casa Amour is such a difficult part of the show to be a part of, because you're essentially trying to break up whatever these girls have with the guys they have in the main villa. 4 weeks worth of connections in 4 days. So you can imagine how difficult it is to be able to do something like that. You know, you can be the best person with the best possible game in the world, but then you're still left with a very difficult task like that. Because with women, especially when they really want to be loyal, it's very hard to shake. Especially when this part of the show asks for you to be able to shake them a little bit, to try and create drama, to try and create some kind of adversity, all those kind of things. So the girls were just being very loyal. I would say one of the reasons why I didn't talk to any other girls, especially somebody like Grace or Uma, just because Uma was the same thing again. You know, she was really like loyal to, what's his name again? I forgot. Wait, it's been such a long time. Will, that's it. Will, sorry, Will. So obviously she was really, really loyal to him, which I really respect as well. It's fine. We had one conversation. It was just more of a platonic thing. It was cool. Grace at that time was in a love triangle with Blade and Messiah. And I'm the type of person, if too many guys is already going for one girl like that, I'm not trying to add on to the fire like that, because then obviously I'm just going to be in the shadow. Like, I'm not really going to be the type of person to make the difference. You know, I'm not going to try and make the love triangle into a love square.
No, man. I'm not doing that. You're forming a line now, just different sides.
Exactly. So that's why I wasn't trying to do that. And that's why, you know, because of that lack of conversation with other girls, it was difficult to see more of me. But with Mimi as well, like I said before, it was just the same thing. You know, she's just trying to be loyal and just respectful and this, that, and the other. And, you know, like I said, I have to commend her for it. There's no way I can fault her for doing something like that. That's a trait that I admire, because that's something that I want from my girlfriend, a future girlfriend of my own. Like, you know, when a guy's trying to move to her, when they're trying to talk to her and stuff like that, you know, she knows how to stand her ground in front of those guys. Loyalty, it shows loyalty, of course. So that kind of thing I respect. And that was probably one of the main, if not the biggest reason as to why we didn't get enough screen time. Because let's say we were amongst a group of girls who are very like, they love drama and like to start things up kind of thing.
Anything could happen.
You know, anything can happen. And then it gives more TV materials, TV gold. It's more, keeps people on the edge of their seat. They want more of it. But we really didn't have those type of girls. We had girls who are more like, straight headed kind of thing, and just wanted to make sure that their position was secured. And, they didn't want to try and like jeopardize what's going on between themselves and the people they already have a connection with anyway. So that's what it was.
I hear that, bro. I hear that. What I can get from this is obviously now you're the kind of person that knows how to adapt. So even though you were going through new experiences, meeting like the producing team, meeting the psychiatric team, actually meeting the cast of Love Island as well, I feel like it wasn't too hard for you to adapt. I mean, knowing who you are, and like I said, as I already mentioned, you are a charismatic person, so you kind of feed off that social energy, getting to know who people are, getting to hear these things, using the things you hear and the things you see, because I've seen them in action. I'm gonna just put that out there as well.
Yeah.
Because you're very, what's the word? Well, you're very aware of your surroundings.
Yeah.
Hey man, you're very aware of your surroundings. Even when it comes to speaking to me, bro, I pick this guy up downstairs. I'm like, you're looking good. He looks at me and he's like, no, I'll say the same thing to you as well, man. It's like, real recognize is real. But going back to Love Island, if anything, will we say like a whole year now since
it's been about a year?
Really cool.
Yeah.
How's your relationship with the cast, some of the people you met? I want to imagine you met some people from previous seasons as well. And what's it like talking to some of the people, some of the girls in the relationships that didn't work? Like Mimi now, for example, I think she's no longer with Josh or something. Are you still chatting with some of the people that you were casted with?
Yeah, whenever we have the opportunity to, there's still conversations that are there. We check up on each other every now and then. If there's birthdays, we say happy birthday. If it's something that's a milestone they've achieved in their life or something in their career, we congratulate them, kind of thing. It's not a situation where because Love Island's done, we don't talk to each other anymore. Everybody just disperses in their own directions, and that's it. But I feel like the people who were closer to each other, more like a real friendship was built outside Love Island. Of course, they're gonna check up on each other more often. But like me and the Casa Amour guys, I just check up on them whenever I can. They have their own thing going on, and they check up on me. And yeah, we're still well connected to some degree. But we also respect the fact that we're adults here, and adults are gonna also have their own things that they want to do, and that's fine, to be fair. So I'd say amongst the guys, Casa Amour guys are still there. Obviously, Ruben as well is a great character, Ruben. So, he's just full of energy, as he always says. What's it? Get the energy or something. What's his slogan? I don't remember.
That guy's hyper.
He's always hype, but it's good to feed off somebody like that. And then Connor's also really cool as well. Some of the Casa Amour girls, I'm cool with Diamante, I'm cool with Ellie, I'm cool with a variety of different people. But yeah, I'm that type of person where like I'm not gonna try and force friendships. Like the way we have a friendship, this is years of friendship.
Of course,
obviously with them, it's more of a thing because obviously we're part of the same experience, which is why a friendship to some degree was formed. However, it's not something where it's like super, super deep, or at least we've not given it an opportunity to be something as deep as what we have, or me and our friendship group essentially has, So with that being said, I'd say we're still in contact. We're still well connected.
That's nice, bro. That's nice. I really like the fact that you had the opportunity to go through this kind of experience, because knowing who you are as a person and just seeing you on TV. Even the show after the Casa Amour edition, when they brought you guys on for the talk and everything like that, do you remember you, Diamante, the rest of them? It was like, I don't remember what they called it.
After Sun. Love Island After Sun.
I think that's what they called it, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was. Like, you guys came in, you were wearing all black, like a black shirt.
Sun. That's what it was.
Exactly. Yeah. Even that experience as well, you got to still show who you are in your dressing, in the way you carry yourself.
Yeah.
It's really nice to see, man, because it inspires other people that also believe that you are representing yourself well to either go for these opportunities, or in the opportunities they find themselves today, they just do a lot better for themselves. 100%. They try to look a lot better, and in turn, they feel better too.
Yeah,
they feel better. Yeah. Well, I think in terms of your charisma, I've flaunted it out there and I've praised you for it, bro. But how did you get so charismatic? Like, what is it about Lionel that makes it so easy to chat to anybody?
I think maybe it started from when I was younger. I was always like a ball of energy. It started off like that. So I was a ball of energy. I was that kind of crazy kid, toddler that watched Tarzan and try and perform what Tarzan did, like jump around and hurt myself. And,
curiously reckless.
Yeah, exactly. So I was never really shy in the beginning, but then I feel like at some point, it kind of affected me in terms of being a bit too much and obviously seeing how people responded because I was being too much. So then I became a little bit more reclusive and more held back. And I was like that for some years. But then at some point I was like, you know what, I need to find the right balance to be able to do, essentially be able to connect with people and be able to have those kind of like connections, whilst also being able to respect people's boundaries and not being too much.
Of course.
So I took some years to be able to just delve in within myself and kind of like find a way to be able to teach myself to be able to make sure that that balance is achieved. But one thing about my charismatic side is just that, I love being a people person. I love to interact. I love to learn more about people, especially people who have more knowledge than my own in certain things and certain situations where I want to become well versed in. And also with women as well, kind of thing. If I like somebody, if I have a crush on somebody, of course I want to get to know them and everything like that. But then I realized at some point, especially for something like dating as well, at that time, I felt very like anxious and I hated that feeling because I want to be able to talk to this individual over here and tell them like, yeah, I'm feeling you. But then, I'm not able to do that because obviously it's just some anxiety thing and it was just eating me up. So then I was like, I need to do something specific. I don't know what it is I need to do, but I need to do something very specific to be able to alleviate those kind of like symptoms that I'm experiencing. So for me, I'm a research person. That's why I love science in school. I'm research based. I'm always like searching up the internet, experimenting with different things, putting myself out there in social situations and just talking absolute rubbish sometimes to be able to just get myself out of that, anxiety-filled way in terms of interacting with different people. And it's all of those inclusive basically made me the kind of person I am today. In terms of being able to talk to different people, have a variety of different conversations with different people, whether it be a girl I'm trying to talk to or a guy I'm trying to form some kind of friendship, business partnership, all that kind of thing. And it's been something that's been a long journey. It's been something that it's been very rewarding and worth it, essentially. But I always believe that there's certain things I can do to be able to improve as well, because there'll be times where either I don't feel like talking to people, maybe my social battery's gone, or there'll be times where I'm like, in this situation where I can be a little bit tiny bit anxious and I'm just like, how do I go and, navigate through that as well. But for the most part, I'd say, I would say I was born with it, and it's always been something that was innate. It's just something that needed to be, developed properly, of course, essentially in the right way. And I feel like I've done a fairly good job to be able to get to that point. And, I want to continue to be able to, improve on that as well. So that's what it is.
I really like that, man, because I think being able to talk to people is one of those keys that really unlocks so many different opportunities.
Absolutely.
If you're able to take yourself, for example, maybe going into a business complex, you're looking for a job. A lot of people don't think it's that easy to just walk in there and say, oh, excuse me, can I talk to your manager? Can I talk to your business director? Things like that. Yeah. It sounds crazy because you're already telling yourself how you see yourself. Like, there's no way I'm going to talk to this guy. He's just going to think I'm just some grafter, drifter, whatever you want to call it. But he might come down and give you an opportunity. You go out there, like you said, you seen that fine chick over there. You want to go talk to her. You just want to tell her that, I think, whatever it is, your shoes, whatever it is you want to use to boost yourself in that conversation, you go out there and you do it.
Yeah, for sure.
As a person, you need to be able to talk to anybody, really, because you never know what's going to come out of that opportunity. And sometimes when it comes to helping people as well, you never know when you're boosting someone else's confidence. Just a little project for you where you're like, I'm going to go tell that girl her shoes match her outfit or whatever, but I'm going to say it in a funny way. So you go say it in a funny way. She's laughed and now she actually thinks she coordinated herself that well. If she even needed that. But for you, it's boosted your confidence because the reaction you thought you were going to get is different.
Yeah.
In reality, it's completely different, or it might just be the same. But we all live by that saying, what's the worst thing you're going to hear? What's the worst thing they're going to tell you?
Yeah, no, 100%. The worst thing, I always believe the worst thing they're going to say is no. The only reason why they might say anything else is because maybe you made them feel uncomfortable somehow. And a lot of the time you make them feel uncomfortable because you're uncomfortable with yourself, you know? So if you're uncomfortable with yourself and it shows, the girl's also like inevitably going to feel uncomfortable around you, which is why you get the faces or like this and the other. But if you come in with an approach of, yeah, you know what you're doing, you come in smooth, well, you try and be smooth, trying to be confident, but it's basically showing certainty of yourself and you're sure of yourself, then she can just reject you respectfully.
Of course.
If she's not feeling you, and you go about your day. You're not going to die. Nothing bad is going to happen to you. You're not going to fall sick. It's okay. So you're going to continue with your life, and there's going to be a girl that's going to accept you anyway. So there's no worry, you know.
Has anyone ever made you uncomfortable, like as they try to approach you?
As they try to approach me?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, Uno reverse for sure. I've had girls come and approach me and talk to me, and I'm not really feeling them. And I've told them, like, you know, yeah, I appreciate the compliment, but you know, I'm not really feeling you, kind of thing. I've noticed that whenever I tell them the truth, they get sour. But then if I tell them, okay, well, I actually have a girlfriend, then, okay, cool. There's girls out there I've told, I have a girlfriend. Oh, but your girlfriend's not here. You know what I'm saying? They'll try and like pursue me even more in that regard. So, yeah, girls they definitely have similarities to guys in terms of having, you know, wanting to approach somebody in particular
100%.
that they like.
100%.
It's not just a guy thing where they're just like, oh yeah, where's your boyfriend now? Like, you know, if he's not here. Like, you know, there's girls that actually do the same thing as well, to be fair. So it's not just a male stricken thing. So I would say, you know, in that regard, I just try and be honest as much as possible. If she's that type of person where she can respect her, then, you know, that's cool. I like the, and maybe we can be friends potentially, you know. But it just depends, really. It really just depends. But you know, when it's a situation, of course, you know, if a girl, to be honest, I prefer to do the approaching. But if a girl wants to approach me that I'm actually feeling, then, you know, it's always the best feeling to have to be able to talk to a girl like that. So
of course,
yeah,
just made the work easier, man.
Made the work easier for me. Of
you
course.
just go 2 steps forward, and you're like,
yeah,
I'll work this out. I'll work this out. But there you have it, people. Charisma is something that you need in your life. I do believe it's something that helps people get on with their day, because you've seen those videos, man. You're just watching a random TikTok or random Instagram reel. Some guy's like, oh, hey, man, looking really nice with that fedora. I love how the beige works for the Navy, man. Have a lovely day. He just says something nice. Another person who's probably going off to work is like, a waste of time. But if he sits down and actually thinks of what that person told them, it's a nice compliment that might even make your day a lot better.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's a lovely thing, people. But we'll be moving to our next segment now. Do not go anywhere. All right, people. If you didn't know already, you're coming at a wrong time. I got Lionel Awudu here, and come on, man, telling us about his experiences, telling us about what it's like being in the celebrity field, and he's not leaving anytime soon. Come on, man. Now is the opportunity where we get to know why you are the person that you are, what inspires you, and we use this as an opportunity to inspire others as well. Starting off with your charisma, because it also ties into your confidence. How can young people, you know, in this day and age, work on their confidence and work on communication at the same time? Because you only go as far as communicating with particular people when you are confident. If you're not confident in yourself, you find out that you just push away the thoughts you have that you want to pass out.
I'm glad you asked me this question, just because obviously I have told people that, you know, I'm doing a bit of confidence coaching as well. So I'm glad.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, for sure.
Put it out there, bro. What's it? Do you have like a link or anything?
Yeah. Right now it's a bit like stagnant, but I do take calls. But obviously I was using like Patreon to be able to post videos and stuff like that. So it's Lions Path Coaching. Funny enough, I'm using the same same name, Lions Path Coaching. Everything's to do with the lion, and you know, the lion's just a very well represented animal. You know,
yes.
it means a lot of wisdom, leadership, all that kind of thing. Confidence is one of them as well. So, but going back to your question. I'd say in terms of building confidence and then communicative skills as well, it just comes to a fact of, you know, for me personally, it was just a fire in my heart to be able to want to be better and do better. You know, you have to really want this, you know. You can kind of want it and then not put the effort and then still be upset because, you know, the girl that you like you can't talk to her because obviously you're worried about what she's going to say because you lack confidence within yourself, or the job you're trying to go for, you've reached the interview stage and you're worried about what you're going to say, or the questions they're going to ask you, because you don't know how you're going to be able to respond in a way that's confident and certain of yourself, and deserving of the job, essentially. So it's one of them ones where you have to really think about how badly you want something, and then based on the energy and the fire that you have in your heart in terms of how bad you want it, that's going to fuel you in terms of you doing trial and error, you practicing, you going to the good drawing board, essentially, and just trying to dissect the whole issue about how and why you don't have confidence. For a lot of people, it may be to do with, traumatic experiences, in the past, and maybe that could have, been a blockage in terms of building their confidence and, trying to address that. And, you might need to see a therapist in that regard, to try and obviously unlock that kind of that path, or that kind of situation over there that's inhibiting you to be able to take that confidence and to be able to grow it, essentially. Or it could be something that's entirely different. But it's, for myself, I can only speak from my own experience. One thing for sure that helped me was just trial and error. Being communicative and being able to talk to people in a way that, kind of opens them up. You open yourself up as well. It's a synergistic kind of flow that works harmoniously between the two of you, or to however many people you're speaking to. It takes a lot of practice.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of time, but it's one of them ones where you have to really put yourself in a position a lot to be able to feel much more comfortable with it. Confidence only comes when you have prepared a lot, and that's why for myself, obviously, relating it to basketball, relating to one of my favorite players, one of my favorite player, Kobe Bryant, especially whenever he felt, I think some reporters were asking questions about how how he's feeling for playoffs and stuff like that, whatever. He never felt like, he never felt like scared, or he never felt like, he couldn't perform, because it always goes to preparation. Failing to prepare is preparing to fail. That's point blank period. So if you don't prepare enough and you still feel some kind of way, it means that, there's still certain things you still had to be able to acknowledge, or to research, or to explore, to be able to make sure you're fully prepared. If you're fully prepared, if you've really, tried your best to research and to put things into practice, to be able to talk to different people and to talk in a specific type of way. For example, for myself, some of the things that I've learned over my time in terms of talking is, vocal tonality, being able to have proper vocal projection as well. Having clear and crisp communication skills too. Those things are really important to be able to get your message across clearly, concisely, straight to the point. Whilst also making somebody, create a thought-provoking experience for them to be like, oh yeah, this guy's quite interesting, engaging, it's making me want to talk as well, kind of thing. And you can literally apply it in all facets of life as well. Dating, business, in inspirational kind of aspects, all those kind of things all need a level of confidence, and you're only going to get that when you really put the reps in as well. So it's literally just trial and improvement, and also doing the right research and just really dedicating yourself. The more you want it, the more you're going to delve into it, and when you delve into it, the more you're going to get out of it. So that's my thing.
I like that. I like that. I like how you're able to work on communication, work on confidence. You've seen the importance of it. And I believe it's self-explanatory. If you're not confident in how you approach things, not just people, situations, life changes, experiences, you won't be ready for it.
Absolutely.
You won't be ready for it at all. You won't be ready what comes. You won't be ready for what comes, and you won't be ready for what you prepared for, or what you thought you prepared for. So definitely have that confidence, and don't feel as though there is no need to work on communication. It shocks you, because for real, man, you see a pretty girl and that's the only thing in your mind. And it's a crazy thing, because you're forgetting that that's just another human being like you.
Yeah.
That's another person like you. She might even be, shaking and wondering what's gonna happen, what's she gonna say, and then she sees you stammer and blah, 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 and then cool. You now just have to laugh at yourself in your own mirror. So I definitely say confidence and communication they work hand in hand, and they are key to a lovely time, a lovely conversation, and at the same time, a big charisma boost. But last question, broski. You've had this opportunity to now be on TV. You've been in that social media spectrum. You've been in that environment, that bubble. I like to call it a bubble. You've been in that social media bubble and you're holding your own. What are the things you've learned from it? And if there's anything else you can add into your forte of charismatic skills, broski, what would it be?
You're always coming up with the best questions, I won't lie.
I'm an intellectual.
Some things I've learned from it. It's very important to stay true to yourself and not get lost in the sauce. I feel like some people get lost in the sauce and then they kind of like turn into someone that, you know, they can't even recognize anymore just due to the people that they surround themselves with. I think it's very common and I've seen it firsthand as well. So I'd say for myself, I've done a pretty good job making sure that I haven't like lost myself or, you know, made myself essentially, you know, forget about the support from other people that, you know, essentially have helped me get into this position in the first place and continue to support me throughout. I would never want to be in a position to neglect them anyway or neglect myself. So, but yeah, just don't get yourself lost into it. Enjoy it because obviously, you know, you get to be a part of big things, big projects and events as well, and more opportunities for growth and more opportunities to meet other people who are like-minded just as much as yourself. And, you know, those things are really important essentially. And I'd say in terms of any additional skills I've added, patience, I'd say. I mean, I've always had patience, but, you know, I think I've exercised it a lot more recently just because, you know, with this kind of thing, with social media, you know, with certain opportunities and stuff, it can become, it can turn into a period where things get a little bit slower, right? So you don't hear much from people, producers, or anything to do with opportunities and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of just being patient, just keep posting content, keep being consistent in that regard, you know, resilient, show that, you know, you still want to, you're still out there, you still exist. Proof of life, essentially, people knowing that, yeah, you know, this person's still there doing their thing. You still want to be in people's faces because the more you're in people's faces, the more you're going to be in people's minds. The more you're going to be in people's minds, the more they stay in tune to, you know, watch more of your content and to be a part of it and to engage with it. So, and that's going to essentially rack up the numbers and then the more opportunities you're going to essentially have. So, that's what I really believe in that regard. But yeah, it's really important to be patient, just not just within this bubble, but obviously just in all facets of life. That it's really imperative, I'd say. And apart from that, just being able to not be overwhelmed as well and not being apprehensive and worried because it can be a lot. It can be a lot for some people, you know. Some people recognize you on TV, you have videos, you have clips, and, you know, you just kind of go through this kind of spiral thinking of like, wow, you know, people saw me in my most embarrassing state. Like, for example, you know, when you do Love Island, you're always going to have embarrassing moments and it's always going to be there. For
sure.
And, or any other show really that's been recorded on the internet, you know, so it's just a matter of knowing how to deal with that and your emotions and that's related to that. But apart from that, you know, just enjoy the whole experience, which is what I'm doing right now. You know, I'm like I said, I'm always meeting great people, and, you know, from meeting great people, I always believe that, you know, great opportunities are going to come ahead. So
that's good, man.
Yeah.
Level-headed answer, level-headed response, to be honest, man, because that's really just how you'd want to live your life. You know, you've had this opportunity, and the thing is that you can continue to take this opportunity by the reins and, you know, ride all the way with it, bro. And the lovely thing for you, Lionel, is that you are not getting lost as you move forward. Obviously, opportunities will come, bigger opportunities, more opportunities to meet people, and more avenues to sidetrack. But in every race, some cars turn over, they tip over and they crash, bro. And it's normally the ones that are probably too focused on the end of the race, or those that aren't focused on how they can overtake the next person the best way possible. You know, so for you, honestly, man, I have to give you your praises. You are definitely someone that I believe people can look up to in terms of style, in terms of communication, and definitely, shoot, man, all around fun guy. And if these confidence classes are anything to go by, shoot, man, people, appreciate honestly, no, man, you're welcome, bro. People, do not forget to always remind yourself, one, that you matter, I will always say that you should always focus on your self-worth, because if you know who you are and if you know what your life means to you, your value, you begin to care more about yourself, especially when you know who you are. I believe knowing who you are as a person does build a little bit of confidence, a bit more confidence for you to get through the day and really help hone the skills that you probably don't even believe in. You don't even know that you're a great talker, all because someone's probably told you to shut up when they heard your ideas or when they heard your jokes, because they want to make other people laugh at the fingers they're pointing at you. You know what I mean? But as you learn, you realize that you have a lot more to say. You just need to work on that craft, refine it, and you might be like the lion sitting next to me. But my boy, my friend, do you have anything else you want to say to the people? Questions you want to ask me? Make it memorable, man.
Yeah, just a quick message to everyone that's watching. Just stay true to yourself. Whatever goals or dreams that you may have, by all means, continue to persevere, and don't allow any kind of blockage or any kind of thing to stop you or hinder you from your path. It's not necessary. You don't need that. Don't let people sidetrack you or distract you or tell you that you can't do it, because most definitely you'll be able to do it. You'll be able to make it 100%. I'm always a big believer, even if it's not the time that you want it. I always believe, because obviously we're Christian, it's always going to be in God's timing anyway.
Of course.
God's timing is the perfect timing. So you just have to trust in Him, and then you'll be fine. A lot of the time it's a situation where you just have to just relay it to Him. And then, just continue to work on what you can do, continue to work on what's within your control. And then at some point, believe it or not, you will achieve whatever you want to achieve. You'll be in the position where you want to be, whether that be, that career job that you want, or, that holiday you wanted to go to, or, just anything really, anything that you want to put yourself in, you'll be able to get that. But yeah, just keep dreaming big and aiming high, and the sky's the limit, and even beyond that. So
simple. Hey man, but there you have it. Even the drippiest of guys, man, need their confidence to be at an all-time high. You don't just come out there and expect it to happen like a little wheel of chance. You need to work on yourself, refine yourself, people, get into the gym, go out there and study, read books, because everyone likes an intellectual. The only person that doesn't like that is a person that doesn't read themselves. So, people, thank you for watching. Thank you for taking the time to hear from us. If you do enjoy my content and you do enjoy checking out Lionel's, I didn't put it out, but you enjoy the content and you do like what you've heard from Lionel, do not forget to subscribe to the channel and check out his Instagram page as well. That is going to be Lionel Awudu. That's your full name, or is there any other
Lionel Awudu, literally in all platforms. That's TikTok,
boom,
Facebook as well, if you want to use Facebook, Instagram, all that kind of stuff. Lionel Awudu.
You be getting a friendship request from me soon, man. I've got onto Facebook now, people. Check it out, Leo Dolce Jr. You'll find me there. Nice little shades. But people, take care. God bless you. Enjoy your life and refine yourself. Peace. Nice. So we're done. That was a lovely one, bro.
That was good. Appreciate it, man.
Cool. That's cool. But before you stand up, just keep the headphones on. I'm going to take a picture, a few pictures of you.
Cool.
For promotional content.